to Meeple Village. Today we're going to be doing a full run through of this War of Mine, the board game. So join me at the table and let's play it. So I've had this game in my collection for a long time, but I don't think I've ever played it on the channel. One of the reasons why is because it's a heavy game, and when I say heavy, I don't mean heavy mechanic-wise. It's actually very simple. It's emotionally heavy. So in this game, there's a war going on, and we are just common people that live in the city where the war is waging. And so we are caught in a shelter that we just kind of found with strangers, and we have to survive until there's a ceasefire. So through the game, we're going to encounter people and we're going to face situations that are really heavy emotionally. And but maybe that's not for everybody, but I do enjoy the storytelling in the game. Really, I think it kind of like it shows a part of life that I am thankful that I've never had to experience. But it puts you in the place of those people that have had to experience that. And even now, there's a lot of places that are going through wars. So I felt like, okay, well, you know what? Let's do it. Let's play it. So the setup is really simple. All you need actually for the whole game is one small book. So let me show you that. So this book is called The Journal, and we are going to use it to set up. So you open up. It gives you the full setup instructions. So we're going to go ahead and start right over here. Determine the leader, choose him randomly. There's only one player today, which is me, so we don't need to do that. And then we're going to draw 3 character cards. Take the character cards, shuffle them, and draw the first red border card and the first 2 black border cards. So let's go ahead and do that. And everything has a place on the board, which is also good. I mean, there's a lot of stuff around here, but you'll get to see what everything does. But these are the character cards. So the game tells us to shuffle them. And we're going to draw the first red border one. So let's get a little closer. So, yeah. And again, yeah, let's make them all. Okay. There we go. So I'm going to give it another good shuffle. And we're looking for the red. That's not red. So that's not red. That's not red. Oh my gosh. Okay, there's this one. She's red. Okay, so we're gonna draw that, and then the first 2 black. That's not black. There's black, and there's black. So we have our 3 characters, and these we just shuffle back, and we're gonna put them back on the character spot on the board. So they will go right back here where we found them. And now we did that. We placed these 3 cards face up near the board. They are your starting characters in this playthrough. Write down their names on the save sheet, which I don't have a save sheet, but the names are going to be right over there. And then place a hunger token level 2 next to each character. Find the figures representing these characters and place them on the guard space on the board, and take the remaining character cards and place them on the unused, which is what we did, character space. Okay, so let's take a look at our characters. So our red border one is Arika, and she's a cat burglar. She has prowess of 2, which is how many times she can re-roll during guard night actions, which we'll see later. She has an empathy of 6, which means if someone dies, she might, morale might go down. She might be very sad. Her misery might go up. And then she has an ability, Sneaky. Once per scavenging before rolling for the noise, Arika may lower the noise by 5. She's a pretty good ability, if I may say so. She's also a burglar. When Arika uses a lockpick, she may reroll a die. She's really good at opening doors. And then she has obviously some stuff that she brought from before the war. For example, she has A, habit. Discard 1 cigarette from the storage, or raise her misery by 2. She uses smoker. And then B, if there's a guitar, lower 1 chosen morale's misery by 1, so I guess she can play the guitar. And then C has no effect. So that's a girl, and some of this stuff you might not understand now, but when it comes into play, I will show you again. Then we've got Anton, who is a professor of mathematics. He doesn't get to reroll, I guess math didn't work out there. He has an empathy of 7, I believe. the lower the empathy, the better, is what I think, because you have to roll. I don't remember. Hopefully nobody will die, but if they do, we'll find out. So, spirits. If there is at least one book in the storage, lower his misery by 1 if he is miserable, and raise his fatigue by 1. Okay, so he likes to read, of course. And then B, if Anton is hungry, raise his illness. So he gets sick when he doesn't eat. Oh my gosh. And then if Anton is wounded, raise his wounds by 1. Oh my gosh, Anton. And what do you have to give us? Nothing. Okay. I would say Anton is probably not our best character. So then we have Marin, the garage owner. Can reroll 1, and he's a handyman. During the day action phase, when using the pokeabout action, Marin adds 3 to his black die roll. So, okay, I like you. And then he has a coffee habit. And if he's miserable, he also gets sick. So he doesn't want to get miserable. Nice. Okay, let's go with these guys then. So they all start hungry, which is not good. All right, so there's our 3 characters. They're all hungry. And this white circles over here and this black circle means how many actions they can take during the day. So right now they can only take 2 actions because the third one is blacked out. But that's that for the characters. Let's move on. I know we have to get their pieces, so let me find them. All right, so I found the 3 figures, and I believe we need to put them here on the guard space. So I'll go ahead and put all 3 of them over here at kind of like they just got into the house. All these 3 guys. There they go. I guess you should be first since you're a red border one. Not that it matters. Okay. Then we're going to distribute the cards on the board, which I've already done. Place on the decks of the corresponding spaces. Place the fitting cards with the green corner. I already did all of this. Let me just show you the board and draw 3 cards from the locations deck and place them on the 3 location spaces. Okay, so locations, events, chapter objective, visitors. Some of these I still have to shuffle. These are fittings, so these are stuff, all the green borders are the stuff that we can create to get our shelter a little better than it is. And then these red border ones are stuff that we can create later if we have an idea of how to create them, which we can get by going to a specific place on the board and wasting an action, or not wasting but spending an action. There's fate, there's a bunch of stuff, and you'll get to see all of it. These actually are going to go on the board in a minute. I haven't done that yet. Okay, so then we have to get 3 locations. So let's see. Let's shuffle these, and let's get 3 locations out on the board, on the far, distant, and close. So for our first location, we're going to get a military outpost. That's going to be the far location. And for our next location, we're going to get, what's this? A quiet house. And our closest location is going to be the city hospital. And I'm showing you now, but most probably I will come back when we go to the locations and explain further what this all means. But for now, we'll put the city hospital, the quiet house, and the military outpost over there. And then the rest of the locations are going to go up there. Then moving on, place all shelter cards on the board, which are the ones that I haven't placed yet. Make sure all the cards are placed face up, the side with a blue corner, and nobody peeks at their backs. So each shelter card must be placed on a space with a name identical to the one on the card. So let me show you how that's done. So yeah, we have all these cards. The blue is on that side so we don't peek. So just so that I don't peek, we're gonna shuffle them a little bit. All right, so over here we need a furniture one. So let's find a furniture. And there it is. So we'll put the furniture right here. We don't know what's in the back. Then we're gonna need some rubble, which is very annoying. Then we're gonna need a closed door. There it is. Then we're gonna need more rubble. We're gonna need another closed door. And these are locations that we can come and search. On the other side, there's usually stuff that we can find for most of them, like for furniture, and some are easier to search than others. Then we got a heap of stuff that we could search, but before that, we need to get through the rubble. And then we got a closed door that we also have to get through. And over here, we got another heap. So let's find a heap. There it is. And another. Okay. And over here, we got some rubble. Then we got some furniture. Then going down here, we got bars. We need something to cut them with. Furniture, rubble, a heap, rubble, and a furniture. And in order to get to these tanks, obviously we're here, so there's a ladder here that can take us over here to the bars, which of course we can't go through. There's a ladder here that will take us to either the heap, closed door, or the rubble. And to get here, we have to get all the way, where's the ladder? Let's see. There's a ladder right here, and then we have to go across, and then there's a ladder that takes you down to the last furniture space. So quite a bit to get through, and that's just at the shelter. There's also all those places that are out and about that we can go search and find stuff at. But again, you're gonna understand all of that as we play. All right, then we have to do prepare the events deck. So place the event cards face down on the event space without looking at their fronts in the following order. So first, let me get all the event cards. So here we go. These are all the event cards. So first, shuffle 3 ending event cards. I think those should be on the bottom. Yeah. So there's 3 ending event cards. We're going to shuffle them. This will be the bottom of the deck. And there we go, bottom of the deck. And then place a chapter 2. Let's see, chapter 2. Actually, chapter 3 card on top of the card, stack them on top of the deck, and then, wait a minute, place a chapter 3 card on top of the deck, yes, and then draw 4 event cards, so 4 regular, so not this one. Those are all the same, yeah, well, except for that one. So we shuffle these, and we get 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we put it here, and then chapter 2 goes on top, and then 3 more of these, shuffle them again, 1, 2, 3, and then chapter 1. And then these will not be needed, and so they can just go away. And of course, these go back over here, starting with chapter 1. 4-character limit. There cannot be more than 4 characters in play at any time. If there are currently 4 characters present, a 5th character cannot be added to your group. And then we got these color-based discs. In order to easily distinguish between the character figures, insert each figure into a color disc and place a token with the corresponding color next to the matching character card. So let's do that. Okay, so I have a blue and a blue token. Arika is yellow, and then Marin is going to be our orange. And I just covered their faces because I don't know where else to put them, and it's not like I look at their faces. But I think the game, actually having the faces there, really tries to like personalize the adventure, right? Like these are people. These are actual photos of people that you're trying to save through this horrible experience that they're going through in the middle of a war. So it says what you should know. What should you know? Whenever you run out of a particular resource or token in the box, it means that this item is currently unavailable. It cannot be found or bought, etc. Well, that's not good. And then discard means that you should return it to the box, but if it says remove, it's out of the game. All right, so up here it's our combat dice, our black die, and our noise make marker, which I already have on the board, and then distributed tokens, which I have them off camera, but I do have them. And there's state tokens, or in the game, characters will get, you know, all those states, kind of like what they just did with the hunger. And you can go up or you can turn them, and if they reach level 4, it's not good. And then finally, we have shared experience. The characters are not assigned to particular players. Everybody kind of just plays with everybody. And when you see this sign, it means that it's the next player's turn to go. The final decision is always made by the leader, which we're supposed to, like, you know, pick at the beginning of the game, but it's only me. I think that's it. So we are ready to get started. And of course, there's still a little bit of setup that happens right at the beginning of the game when we go to the morning. But like I said, the journal takes you through every step of the game. So you can use it. If you're not familiar with the game, you can use it, and then once you start kind of like remembering all the steps, you can stop using it. But we're going to use it at the beginning just so that, well, first so that I remember, and also so that you guys know what's going on. So let's go to the morning. So we start here. A new day begins. Morning. Event. Draw and resolve the top card from the event's deck. Do not forget to add the cold tokens to the cold space on the board as described in the revealed event card. And then we will go to the next player, but of course here it's just me. And then continue to the day actions phase. Movement in the shelter. Let's see. You replace characters on any shelter spaces and fit in shelter cards to which you have access starting from the guard space. Characters may freely move horizontally. They can also move vertically using the ladder set between the floors. However, obstacles like bars, locked doors, rubble remnants, and holes are impassable, and the cards and spaces behind them are unavailable, which makes sense. We can't go through the rubble. So we're going to start with our chapter 1 event, which again is just a little bit of setup. So let's go ahead and read it. Chapter 1. When the Civil War broke out, many people thought that it would only last a couple of weeks. It's been a year since the military surrounded the rebels in the capital, cutting off all supply lines. The civilians still trapped in the city suffer from hunger, disease, and the constant threat of shelling. It's another day of desperate waiting for the end of this terrible war. So we're going to determine the objectives for each of the 3 chapters on the campaign. So find a final objective card in the objectives deck and place it on the objective space on the board. So our objectives are up here. So I'm just going to drag them so that we can create the deck, and then I'll put them back over there. So we need a final. So let's see, chapter. There's the final objective. So final, and place it on the objective space on the board. I will. Then draw 2 more objective cards and place them on the final objective. These cards should be placed face up, and you may look at them anytime during the game. Remove the remaining objective cards from the game. At the end of each chapter, resolve any reward or penalty from the corresponding objective card. Okay, so let's take a look at our objectives. So our first objective in the game is going to be soldiers disarm the civilians. Discard a functional firearm from the storage. Oh my gosh, that's going to be hard. Okay, so reward peace. During the next night raid phase, do not draw a night raid card. So, okay, so, and we have a little tracker. Let me go find it. And here it is. So objective status, we're at 0. We got to move to 1 to complete that one. So that's the first thing we're going to do. Then the next objective during the next chapter is collect vegetables for the refugees. Okay, at any moment you may discard any number of vegetables without resolving their effects, so not eating them. And for each one discarded, we move the objective card. And of course we get a reward and we get a penalty. And then the final objective is going to be survive. At least one character from the starting group must survive until the end of the game. With all of their states equal or less than 2. So we already started at 2. Fatigue is ignored. All right, and those are going to be our objectives because, you know, surviving in the war is not hard enough. We also have to get rid of a weapon. A functional firearm, nonetheless. And before I move on, there is something really important that we forgot during setup, and that is our starting equipment. So we do start with some things: a lockpick, a shovel, 4 components, 4 wood, 2 water, and 3 raw food. So let me go ahead and get that. And this file here is our storage. So we got the lockpick, the shovel, 4 components, 4 wood, 2 water, and 3 raw food. And that's all we have to our name, which means someone's gonna go thirsty this turn if we don't find any more water, because everybody has to drink 1 water later. But you know, it is what it is. All right, so that was our morning. So we're gonna move on to our day actions. And during the actions, we can take up to 3 actions. We perform up to 3 actions, but of course, this means that the 3rd action is not available. This means that the 2nd and 3rd action is not available, and this one means we have no actions. If a character possesses tokens with black markers on them, as shown on the state tokens. So right now we have tokens like this. All our characters are hungry, so all our characters are going to be able to do 2 actions this turn. Okay, so what are our available actions? We can take actions on shelter spaces. We can, or fitting cards, so we can, you know, remove rubble, all that. And then, you know, if anything is required, we need to be able to pay for it, of course. And you'll see that in a minute. Actions on shelter cards. Place a character on a chosen shelter card, resolving its back. Some require placing a certain token from the storage of that card in addition to a character. Return that token to the storage after resolving the action. In case of the rubble, instead of a shovel, you may place an additional character, which is on the card. You can read that. So action from the closed door requires making a roll. That's also on the card. So we can pick a lock, roll the black die, resolve from 1 to 3, no effect, resolve from 4 to 10, discard the lockpick, then resolve the back of this card. So we need to roll more than 4 to be able to open a card. And to place a new fitting card, you can only do it if you have the stuff to make the whatever you're going to make. So, and we can only use the ones from the fittings, not the ones with the green border like I showed you before. And then we just put them in an empty space in a shelter. any space without a card or action, and without the guard or the sleep on the floor options. And then we can place any character on it and discard the required resources or tokens from the storage. After that, flip it face up so we know exactly what the fitting does and we can use it from then on. Okay, so and then we'll go to the dust phase, but let's take our actions then. So everybody's gonna take 2 actions. We kind of assign them to where we want them to be, and then we resolve. So I know somebody has to go and search here, maybe find some water. That would be amazing. And then we can maybe start thinking of what fitting we want to make. Of course, with the stuff that we have, I doubt that we can make any of them, but let's go ahead and kind of pick an objective for us of what we need to gather for what we want to build. So these are the things that we can build right now. And, you know, an herbal garden, in the back it tells you we can cultivate herbs, roll cigarettes, which I know one of my guys likes cigarettes, prepare herbal meds. So that's what that gives you. But of course, these are the requirements. Mechanical part, which we don't have. We do have the 4 components in the 4 wood. I do like my rainwater collector because, of course, we're going to be needing water, but we don't have a filter, we don't have a mechanical, we don't have 5 components. But this one will give us water. So I do like having that, so I'm going to put it on that pile. Then a deadfall trap, it gives you food. You have to put either camps or raw food, and then you might get extra food. So yeah, that's good, but we can probably find food somewhere else, but of course that's a good one. This one will make electrical parts and mechanical parts, a filter. We can fix the guitar, which I know there's a character that wants a guitar. We already have a bed, but we can build another one. Actually, we do not have a bed. So a bed might be nice, 3 components and 4 woods, and that actually we can build right away. A heater might be good too, but of course we have to pick. But it will help us, you know, discard coal tokens, which we're going to get. We didn't get any this time, but we will start getting them soon. Metal workshop, it'll give us lockpicks, shovels, saw blades, knives, hatchets, no firearms. A radio is to be able to look ahead, and we can, well, actually, we can relax, so decrease our misery, which is good, but we're not miserable yet. Or look at the top 2 cards of the events deck, just to be prepared, because of course we listen to the news. Alcohol, I don't think we're gonna need that. Let's see, we can make moonshine. Yeah, I don't think we need that right now. And a stove will help us prepare a meal, will give us a vegetable, or with raw food and water, we can actually make 2 raw food. So, and I know, well, we're gonna need to eat, but I think these are my priorities right now. The bed, for sure, somebody should be making it right away, because when we sleep here, we lower the fatigue of a character. If we take a nap by 2, but if we sleep during the night, then we are able to lower the fatigue all the way down to 0. So I do like my bed, and we have 3 components and 4 wood, so I'm gonna make that right away. And then I'm thinking this, because this, of course, unless we find it during this action, we're not gonna be able to do that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say one of our characters is going to create a fitting. And so right here it says place a new fitting. See description on fitting cards. So we're gonna go here. I guess I'm gonna send him, who has no other ability, and he needs, what is it, 3 components. Pay that, and of course we're gonna resolve that simultaneously later. And how many woods was it for? Yeah, all of our wood. So we're out of wood already. Okay, but we're gonna have a bed to sleep in. Okay, so there's that. And then this guy is really good at poking about and finding more wood and more components, because his special ability is that he adds 3 to whatever he rolls, and we're gonna need to roll. So okay, I placed everybody, and then the first we're gonna resolve them simultaneously, but you know I can't do that, so we'll search. And hold on, let me show you this card. Takes an action, there's nothing required, and we flip it, and woof, we found the water, so that's good. All right, we found an electrical part, a water, and 3 components. So we have a little bit more components. So let me find that and put it in the storage. So here we are. We have an electrical part, which now we might take a look at those fittings again for action number 2, which would be our last action. And now we don't have to go thirsty. That's a good thing. And then this card just gets discarded. Remove this card from the game. So that's what she did. Now he's going to make a bed. So, you know, of course she's done. So we can put her here. We can put him here. This all goes back to the box, not to the to the to the bank, I guess. And then here's our bed. We're gonna place it here, I guess, or we can place it here. More privacy. And then this guy's gonna poke about, and it says any number of characters at the same time will do it, but he's the only one here. Roll the black die for each character placed here and add the following to the storage. So we want to roll high. And we rolled a 6, but he adds 3, so that's a 9. So for 9, we can pick 4 wood or components, so a combination. So I know I got 4 components, so maybe I will get 4 wood. But in order to make that decision, I should really be looking at the stuff I need to build next, which I put up here. So I got the 5 components and 3 wood. So if I wanted to build a simple heater instead of the 4 wood, I should switch that to a, because hold on a second. What did I get? I got 4. This is what I picked. So let's see. And we need 2 mechanical parts for that. We don't have any. We need a filter and a mechanical part for the rainwater collector. And those are the main ones I want to build, right? So, okay, so then let's go ahead and get just 3 wood and 1 more component. That's a total of 4, 3 wood and 1. And now we can, for our next action, go ahead and build our heaters. So I like to try and build things right away because you're gonna need them. You're gonna need a heater, you're gonna need a bed, you're gonna need all that stuff. And the sooner I make it, the sooner I have it. And the problem is that, of course, I know that the heater requires me to have wood or books to throw into the fire and heat up the house. And I'm not gonna have any because I'm gonna use all the wood to build the heater. But I'm hoping that we can find somewhere we can find that stuff. So let's go to action number 2, which is our last action because, of course, everybody's hungry. So I know, again, we're going to have this guy search the heap because that's easy to do. And then we're going to have Arika build a simple heater with our 3 wood and our 5 components. Again, sacrificing all of our stuff, but getting something out of it. And then he can do what? He can go back, poke about since we're out of stuff, or we can start trying to, search this house. So if I go this way, I meet Rubble. Rubble takes actually a shovel, which I have, or 2 people here, and then Rubble turns into more rubble, so I won't get anything this turn. Closed door needs a pick, and I need to roll high in order to open the door, and then I'm going to be faced with rubble, so that's probably not that great. Better to do this rubble so that I can come over here and search the furniture and also have these stairs ready to go. But since he's good at poking about, I think I'm going to do that again and just get more stuff right now. So first, let's, I'm supposed to do this simultaneously, but let's see what he finds in this heap. So he found a weapon part, 1 sugar, 5 components, and 2 wood. So let's add that to the storage. Okay, so I found a weapon part, which is here. 1 sugar, put it right here. And 5 components, which I'm just going to put them here because this multiplies them by 5. That way I don't have that much stuff in my storage. And then my 2 wood. And then this gets out of the game. She's going to build a simple heater. And we're going to toss that to the, to the box, to the bank. And there's our simple heater. And then he's going to poke about. He's going to roll again. Before I roll, I do have I don't know how I got these things, but I do have like the, what do you call them? I guess little furniture things. So instead of having the cards there and you can't see this anyways, I'm going to just make the house pretty and I'll show you these when I use them. So we'll just keep them here. I kind of know what they do, so hopefully I won't forget what they do. And I'll just show them to you up close when we're about to use them. All right, let's roll for him, see how much stuff he can find. All right, so this time he rolls an 8 plus the 3 that he gets. It's 11, so we're good. And I just checked to make sure that this is not only once per day action. It says whenever he uses the poke about. So we are getting either 4 wood or 4 components or a combination. Now I got a lot of components, so I think I'm going to try and get a lot of wood because I know I'm going to have to burn it in the heater to get rid of the coal tokens that are coming. All right, so here's my 4, or do I want, because I will have 6 and I'll have 5. No, I think I'm good. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and this one, I'm just gonna make it 5 like that. So I have 6. And with that, we finished our day action. So we're going to the dusk. So there's our flavor text. The sun has disappeared beneath the horizon, shadows and darkness now rule over the city. It's a bit safer to go out at this time, but first we must regain some strength. So, water. Each character must drink 1 water, discarded from the storage. And remember, this card goes to the bank. For each character that does not drink water, roll the black die. From 1 to 5, raise their hunger. From 6 to 10, raise their misery. So regardless, it's bad. But this time around, we do have the water because we found some in the heap. So I'm just going to discard the 3 water. And of course, now I'm out of water. That's why I want to build a rain collector so that this doesn't keep happening to us. And then hunger. Each character should eat 1 or more food discarded from the storage. So we don't have any canned food, but if we did, we could lower our hunger by 2, and that would make us not hungry. But we do have raw food, lower the hunger by 1, so everybody gets to eat that. And if we eat vegetables, the hunger stays the same. I guess they don't fill us up as much. And if we have no food, we raise our hunger by 1. And then we will go to the eating phase. So everybody's going to eat their raw food, and look how much stuff we have now. So we just flip this hunger status to hunger 1. And I guess we're just a little bit hungry, but we get all of our actions if we can remain like that, which remains to be seen. And that's it for the dusk phase. So we're going to the evening phase. So before nightfall, we must decide who will stay in the shelter to regain strength or guard the door, and who will venture into the ruined city. We can only hope to scavenge some food, meds, and other necessary materials. Oh yes, we do. All right, so we have to assign each character to one of the 4 available tasks. We can sleep in a bed, place a maximum of 1 character on 1 bed, and set the character's fatigue to 0. But right now we're not fatigued, so I'm not worried about that. Then we can sleep on the floor. Any number of characters can sleep on the floor. Space, lower these characters' fatigue by 2. But again, we're not fatigued yet, but we will, because if we do guard duty, place any number of characters on the guard space to defend the shelter from attacks during the night raid phase. The higher the prowess of a guard, the better. There must be at least 1 guard on the guard space. Otherwise, we see 3 in the book of scripts, which we haven't seen yet, but we will. And the character's fatigue goes up by 1. And finally, we can go scavenging, place up to 3 characters on the findings piles. Up to 3 characters can go. 1 needs to stay behind, I guess. To send them to the ruined city during the scavenging phase. The higher the inventory and prowess of a character, the better they will perform during the scavenging phase. And again, we raise the fatigue by 1. So let's pick our characters. Okay, so one of them has to guard, and the other 2 are going to go out. Their inventory is 3, which means that they can bring back up to 3 in weight. For example, this thing right here weighs 1, so they could bring 3 electrical parts each. That's it. But there's stuff that does not weigh. For example, a lockpick has no weight in it. So that's how that works. I know Arika is like a really good scavenger because she can lower the noise by 5 once. So we're sending her out. So she's going out here. She's going to get a fatigue 1. They're all going to get a fatigue 1. So Marin, is Marin going to go with her? You know what? I'm going to send Anton with her because I don't like Anton that much. And then, well, actually, he's going to get wounded. So actually, the other way around. I'll keep him guarding. Let's see, what's his power? Oh, his power is horrible. Marin is a little bit better at guarding. So maybe I should leave Marin behind. I mean, it doesn't matter. If I take him, he won't be rolling. So let's just do it like that, I guess. And then let me get everybody fatigued. So we thought we had all actions, but now we're fatigued, and now everybody has just 2-day actions again. How fun. Okay, let's go. That's it. We've set everybody up where they want to go, so let's continue on. It is safer to move around the city at night. Shots can still be heard, but only sporadically. You strap your backpacks on tightly and leave the shelter. Carefully, you pick your way through the ruined shops and houses that line the shelled streets. All right, so first we gotta choose a location. Choose one of the 3 available locations. And move all the characters taking part in the scavenging onto it. Note the rule on the red space of the location card if there is any. Okay, so what location are we picking? I think we're gonna go to the closest location. There's nothing red, there's a red thing here. So we're just gonna come to the city hospital, hopefully get some meds in case we get sick. I don't know what we're gonna find at the hospital. Some food, or maybe nothing. I'll show you the card in a minute because there's some things that we can do there. We choose equipment. If there are any weapons, like a hatchet, knife, a pistol, or equipment like a lockpick, a saw, or a shovel in the storage, you may assign these tokens to the scavenging party, place them on the findings file space. You may also take any tokens from the storage for possible trade. So at the city hospital, there's a closed door, so we might need a lockpick. There's a basement entrance, and there are bars, so we would need a saw blade, which we don't have. Then we might find special things, which we're gonna need to roll. And if we roll really high, we can get cool stuff. If we roll really low, we get nothing. On this particular location, we can return 4 exploration cards to heal, and we're gonna read 932 in the Book of Scripts, or if you have the app, you can use the app. And we can return 6 exploration cards to trade, so there's that trading thing. See that number. And then these are only going to be used if needed. And then it says here, from the city hospital, return 2 exploration cards to take a look around the area, which usually, I don't know if it does much. But exploration cards, you see that you're going to be discarding a bunch of them. So that's why I chose also to go to the city hospital, because it gives you the most location cards as explained somewhere. Let's see. Prepare the unknown deck and explore. Draw as many exploration cards as shown on the location space of the location you chose to explore. 10, 12, or 14. I chose the one with 14. I'll show you in a minute. Place them face down without looking at them. Now resolve these cards one after another. Discard the resolved cards by placing them face up on the discard space on the board. And then after each card, we are going to go to the next player. Whenever the game tells you to return exploration cards, return them face down without looking at them. And all items acquired during scavenging should be placed on the findings file space. At the end of the scavenging phase, you will decide what to leave behind and what to bring back to the shelter. When the unknown deck is depleted, exploration automatically ends. And we resolve the choose findings stage, which is over here, which we will after we do the exploration. So let's go. So because this is the closest to our house, it gives us the most cards. This gives us 14 exploration cards. This gives us 12. And the furthest one gives us 10. I guess we have less time to explore because we're further from the house and we need to come back before things start happening and daytime comes and then they shoot us. So this is the exploration deck, and we're going to put 14 cards in the unknown. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, and then we're gonna resolve them one by one. And you know, I gotta tell you, I'm pretty sure that this board game is based on a video game by the same name, which I played, and that's why if you feel like it runs like a video game, it definitely does run like a video game. Like you don't even control a character, you're controlling all the characters, because on the video game you're playing solo. So they just adapted it pretty well so that more players can play and make decisions and control the shelter. But really, it used to be like it comes from a video game where you play solo and you explore and you have your shelter. It's the same thing. Actually, the game is pretty cool. It's pretty scary. Not scary, but you know, it's emotional, and you have to fight and do all that stuff, and you can get jumped. Here, it still can happen, as we're going to see when we go to the exploration. But let's do it. Let's go explore. Okay, so I needed to give these people equipment. So I really don't know what I'm doing with the weapon part, but it does, or sugar. So I might bring it with me to trade. The trade value is this yellow number, so it's 5 trade value. So whatever equipment I bring, I can put it there. I won't keep the electrical part because I know that I can use it to build stuff. So there's that. All right, now we can go. So the first thing that happens is we find a door. So pretty much we could peek through the keyhole, return 1 exploration card to look at the next card from the unknown deck. So if we kind of wanted to leave, we could like check or enter, raise the noise by 1, or roll for the noise. But we forgot to do the noise thing, set the noise to 1. But that's all you have to do, is set the noise up to 1, which it's already on 1. All right, so we'll roll for the noise because the noise is at 1. But before I do, let's talk about it. Set the noise marker. Place a noise marker on space 1. Whenever the game tells you to raise or lower the noise, move the marker on the track either up or down. Whenever the game tells you to roll for the noise, which is what we're doing now, we roll the black die. If the result is equal to or less than the current noise, an encounter immediately triggered. We put the marker back to 1 and draw and resolve the top card from the residence deck. After resolving the residence card, resume scavenging. We might still meet someone else. So if we get a noise, we'll meet some residents. We get a 1, but we got a 3, so we're good. Basically, that card was a waste. We have 13 more to go. The next one is a jam door. All right, so these are kind of interesting. We need to make sure that the jam door is over here, and there isn't a jam door. And this is called a map card. So say it says check the current location for the jam door. If there is no jam door like this one, discard this card and draw a new one from the exploration deck. But if there is, you may resolve this card immediately or place it on the exploration slot and resolve it later. So because there is no jam door at the city hospital, we just draw from here, from the ones we weren't going to use. Okay, this is an interesting one. Reality impact. Something unexpected has happened. Remember how I told you that this game is story driven? Here we go. Here's the story coming up. All right, so draw a card from the colors deck to determine the color of the script. Okay, colors deck. Let's see what color it is. It is blue. And then we're going to shuffle it again and put it back on the board. Then check the number with that color on the exploration chart on this location's card. So here's our location card, and there's the blue number, so 809. Find that number in the book of scripts and resolve the corresponding text. Afterwards, place this card under the current location card with that location card. When that location card is removed from the game, shuffle this reality impact card back into the exploration deck. So we're not going to see this card for a while. And we're going to go to 809. So we go to I have the app, which I like it better because it's a lot easier than having to use a book and go page through page. So I just put the number here, and then it'll take me right there. And then also it's easy. It's hard. You can't really see what's going to happen, which in the book, what the results are right underneath. And so I believe, and so it's easy to look ahead and say, oh no, that's too much text. That might be the good one, so let me pick that one. So this one lets me not cheat at all. No cheating allowed. So let's see what happened on 809. Whoa, okay. A woman's cry for help drew us to the hospital. Yeah. Her voice was decisive without fear or hysteria. Hysteria? There's no protocol for saving a life in the middle of a war. There's no time to wait and follow rules. Every second counts. A young nurse runs out from the infirmary at the end of the corridor. Without waiting for a response, she drags us into the room. An older man lies on the bed. His eyes are open, but he's barely conscious. His heart is failing. I've got to run to assist in another procedure. Wait here for an hour and give him adrenaline if he collapses. Thank you. And with those demands, the nurse runs out of the room. Oh man. So we have a choice. We're sorry, Grandpa, but the adrenaline can help someone a little younger than you or one of us. Goodbye. And we will go somewhere else. And then we'll wait here as long as we can, return 3 exploration cards or the rest if you have fewer cards left, and see 129. So there's our choice. Now, in most games, you want to do the right thing, right? But in this game, it usually punishes you if you do the right thing, believe it or not. So sometimes it's better to just run with the stuff. But I can't just let this guy die. So we're going to return 3 exploration cards. 1, 2, 3. We'll never see them again. And we're going to hope for the best. We're helping this guy. I don't think it's going to be good, but let's try. So we'll wait here. The old man was so thrilled with our company that he totally forgot about his ailing heart. He told us stories about his life and relatives until the nurse returned. Grandpa, you aren't boring them, are you? I see you didn't need the adrenaline after all. Incredible. Please take this as a way of thanking you for your help. Thank you for not running. Okay, this was actually not bad. Add 1 raw food to the findings pile. Okay, and then roll the black die and compare the result with the empathy of each character present. As a result that is equal to or lower than a character's empathy, lower their misery by 1. There it is. So I'm adding the raw food to the findings, which we're definitely taking. It does weight 1, so we need to keep that in mind. And then these guys, their empathy, Arika's is 6, so we need to lower with raise their misery. But she's good. She has an 8. And then who's here with her? Marin, who's a 5. So lower than 5. And no, he's got a 9. So we're good. They both are okay. They dealt with it perfectly. And we can go back to the game. So actually, I take it back. That wasn't terrible. Now, I do want to trade, and I need 6. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Usually what I do is I put them sideways. So I know that at the end, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. At the end of this visit, I want to go trade. And I only have 3 more left. Let's keep going. So stairs up, look for another way, return to exploration cards, or enter, raise the noise by 2, and roll for the noise. Huh. Okay, well, I'm going to raise the noise by 2 and roll for the noise because Arika, she has her sneaky ability. Once per scavenging, which will be now, before rolling for the noise, you may lower the noise by 5. So, since we only have 2 cards left on the exploration deck, I feel like it's okay for us to do that. And then we roll for the noise, and if we get a 1, we are going to meet a resident, but we got a 7, so we're good. So we can continue with the last 2 cards, and we're going to poke about. You may ignore this card or poke about. Return 1 exploration card or roll for the noise, and 2, choose 1 finding from the special findings charts for this location. Okay, I think we can roll for the noise since the noise is still 1. And yeah, we got a 3, so we're good. And we're going to choose 1 finding from the special finding charts in the location. So here is what we could get. Let's roll. And we got a 6, which is 2 chems. Okay, we'll take that, I guess. And so we add that to the findings tile. And those don't wait, so we might bring them back because I know that if we build a stove, we can't turn them into food. All right, and last exploration card, should we do it? Let's do it. Bars. Okay, we don't have any bars, so just like it's a map card, so we just grab one from over here. And tough luck. Roll for the noise. Okay, well, I think we'll be fine because Arika's ability is crazy. Yep, we're perfectly fine. Okay, and then we're going to return 10 to trade at this location. I mean, not 10, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And after trading, we'll be going home. Okay, so to trade, we are going to see 303. So back to here. In the ruined buildings scattered around the hospital, something that resembles a marketplace has come into existence. While it's difficult to find weapons or any equipment here, you're sure to be able to buy stolen medicine or food. That is, as long as you have anything of value to trade for them. You may buy any green and yellow tokens here. See, yeah, okay. And the trade commission is 2. Okay, so I am keeping this off camera because there's just no space for me to put them. But the tokens in the box are separated by colors. So we got the red tokens here, the, I guess, gray tokens here, got yellow, and we got green. So this is the stuff that we can actually trade for. Yeah, they said yellow or green. So I'm going to look around and see what I want to trade for. And before I do that, let's take a look at how much value I have. So the trade commission is 2, which means I have to use some 2, which will be maybe this one, that I don't even get anything for because that's just what they require for me to even start trading with them. I don't want to trade that, but I don't mind parting with this sugar for 3. The chems, I'm okay with, but with 3, 4, 5, I cannot buy raw food. I might be able to buy a vegetable. Let me see. Yes, I can. I can buy a vegetable. Which is probably the best thing I can do. The other thing that I can do is get some cigarettes and coffee because I know that these guys are going to be hungry soon. I mean, not hungry. They're going to go through a habit soon enough. But not eating is probably worse than doing the habit, although not really. It's a tough one. So I think I'm just going to, since it's here, I'm just going to keep the vegetable and I will get rid of everything because I needed 5 for the vegetable and 2 for the trade. And yeah, it's tough in the war. So, but that's it. And now we're out of cards, so we have to go back. These are going to be shuffled, and when we come back out, we will check. So now we need to figure out what we're going to take, but that's in the next step of the game. So let's go back to the journal. Choose findings. Once you finish the exploration, shuffle all exploration and resident cards back into their decks, which I will. At this moment, you may add as many resources, wood, components, and water to the findings pile as you wish. You can bring back a total weight of tokens, resources, including the equipment and weapons you brought with you, equal to the total inventory of all characters taking part of this scavenging, which each of them has 3, so we can carry 6 weight. The weight of heavy tokens is shown in that icon. If a token does not have an icon, its weight is 0. Each 1 resource, water component or wood, is 1 weight. Everything you cannot carry, you have to leave behind and it's discarded. Characters with their findings will make their way back to the shelter in the dawn phase. Before that, the night raid occurs, which we're going to go to next. Okay, so what do we want to bring home? Definitely some water if we can. So we can bring up to 6 things, but that weighs 1. This does not weigh the vegetable. So I have 5 slots, 5 slots of components or wood or water. So definitely water. I would at least take 3 because that's what's going to be required tomorrow for us to drink. So with that, I am at 4. I can carry 2 more things. Now I'm looking and we have components. We have 6 and 5 components. And we might find components here. So I think I'm just going to bring water because we don't have a water collector yet. And we're going to be needing to drink. And there's still water available. Remember, if there's no water in the box, then we just can't find that resource. There's 1 water available, which is so cheap, man. All right. But there it is. That's what we're going to bring home. But before we can come home, we have to go to the night raid phase of the game. So let's go back to the journal. Okay, so choose weapons for the guards. We don't have any weapons. If you possess any weapon tokens in the storage, you may wish to give them to the guards, but we don't. Each character may only wield 1 weapon. So the night raid. Draw and resolve the top card of the night raid's deck. So let's go ahead and show them to you. So here's our night raids, and they're all bad, most of them. I think there's 1 that's not bad, but it could be. And that's not the one that's not bad. Okay, so it has damage. The amount of stolen tokens, resources that must be discarded from the storage, the weapons used by the guards remain safe. So we don't have any. So they're doing any 3 tokens, resources, starting with the most expensive. Great. So they're taking away our stuff. And wounds, the amount of wounds that must be distributed between the characters on the guard space. They're not hurting us though. Afterwards, remove this card from the game. So hobos are only coming around once. Read below how you can minimize damage and wounds. Guards and weapons. Well, we don't have guards and weapons, right? So we would roll a die corresponding to, well, this will be us. Roll a combat die corresponding to the weapon used for each character in the guard space. We do have 1. White combat die, no weapon. So that's what we're rolling. Which is not really white. I don't know why they call it white. But we will roll a yellow if we had a melee weapon, and a red if we had a firearm, which we need to give up anyways. And if we're using weapons, this is what happened. We'll read it when we have weapons. And then this value determines the number of rerolls a character may perform during a night raid in order to get a better result. The character does not need to use all of their rerolls, but the last roll is considered to be final. And then every board of tokens subtracts either 1 wound or 1 damage, but of course we don't have any of those, and then we continue to the next page. So we're gonna roll the white, and we're not gonna be very successful with no weapons. Actually, we didn't do that bad. Look at that. All right, so look at this die. We got the two hits, I guess, but there's a blank, there's a blank, there's a blank, there's a blank. I mean, it's mostly blanks, 4 blanks, and then we had a chance of 1 result, and we actually got the best result. So we still take 1 damage, so we still need to get rid of, discard 1 resource, the 1 token, the most expensive one. So let's take a look at what that is. Put the night raid's back, and our most expensive one is the shovel. So now we can't get through the rubble, so maybe I should have done that when I had the chance. So much stuff happening. With each path and night, the situation is getting more grim. So, crime wave. During setup, we had cards that we put aside, and we have to shuffle 2 cards in any combination of night raids and residents into their corresponding decks without looking at their fronts. So we have these that have that red little exclamation mark on the top. So we can do 1 of 1 or two of 1 deck, however we want to do it. We gotta put 2 in there. So I feel like night raids are horrible, and I would rather just residents. You don't always need residents when you're scavenging, so I would rather just start putting residents in there, and these will leave out for the next crime wave. All right, now we're going to the dawn phase. Okay, so the scavenging party returns. Move all the characters in the scavenging party into the shelter and place all the tokens and resources they brought back into the storage. So this people come back, and all of our water comes back. Whoops. Okay. and our food that we were able to find, which I usually do not find food when I go scavenging, but thank you. Next, we can assign meds and bandages. If there are any meds, any kind of meds in the storage, you may assign them to the ill or wounded by placing them on the chosen character's cards. Well, right now nobody's ill or wounded, so we're good. Draw a fate card. Draw a result one fate card. Ignore the bottom part. And when a fate card tells you to exchange a location card, remove that card from the game. Then slide the remaining location cards down so that the far space is empty. Finally, draw a new location card from the location deck and place it on the far space. And we'll do the last one, which is the only good part of the game, the narrative action card. But these are our fate cards. Shuffle them, and we're going to ignore the bottom, so we get this one. So it says, raise the illness of all ill characters who did not take any meds, but we don't have any ill characters. Heal the wounds of all characters who have bandages, but we don't have any wound characters. Discard bandage tokens from all characters. We're going to do that. If cold tokens minus board ups equals 1 or more, raise the illness of one chosen character by 1, but we don't have any cold tokens now, but we will start getting them soon. Exchange the nearest small location, so we have to do that. We don't have any weight tokens, and then we're going to resolve the C on all character cards, and afterwards shuffle this card back, and we ignore this. So we're going to exchange the small location and then resolve C. So if we look here, the only small location is this one. So this one gets removed, this one slides down, and then I don't know how the locations move. That part I never understood, because all of a sudden the military outpost is closer to home than it used to be. I guess maybe what it means is that that one that we discarded is no longer available, and so we just have to go the distance, and we're better runners. Every night we become better runners because we get experience from running the night before. But that's that, and then we're going to resolve the C on everybody. So hopefully you can see it from here. So Arika has no effect on C. C from Marin is, if Marin is miserable, but he's not, raise his illness, so we're good. And then if Anton is wounded, raise his wounds by 1, but he's not wounded. So everybody is okay for now. That wasn't that bad. Okay, alcohol, by the way, this stuff down here. We didn't use it now, but let's take a look at it. Alcohol may be used before or after resolving a fate card discarded from the storage. Moonshine, raise one chosen character fatigue by 2 and lower their misery by 1. 100% alcohol, raise one chosen fatigue by 1 and lower their misery by 1. So, helps you with misery. And Death Among Us. At the end of the dawn phase, check if any character died or abandoned the group today. If the answer is yes, roll the black die and compare the result with each character's empathy. When a result equal 2 or less than their empathy, raise their misery by 2. Whew. Okay. This time it didn't happen, but this game is not easy, and it's not for the faint of heart. Alright, we almost skipped the only positive part of the game, the narrative action card. Draw 2 narrative action cards, read them, choose one, and shuffle the others back into its deck. And those are right here, so we're going to give them a shuffle and pick 2. So let's see what we get. So these are usually like one-time use. We get resourceful and kick the door down. So we pick kick the door down, play during the day actions phase or during the scavenging phase to automatically open a closed door. Resourceful, play when crafting any fitting. Ignore the requirement of one of the resource token types. Well, I know I have a lockpick, but I have a bunch of doors I need to break down. However, skipping a whole resource might be the way to go. I mean, I'll link them both. And this is what I'm saying, that these are actually like the best part of the game, but you can only pick one. I think for now I'm going to kick the door down because we have a lot of exploring to do, and hopefully we get the resourceful one later. So that's my choice. And then finally, we go to the end of the turn. Let us look back on the past day. How did we do? What will we need next? What must be scavenged or traded? What should we build? And let's see what tomorrow will bring us. Start a new day. And then we can save. At this moment, you may save the state of the game and pack it in the box. Then you may return to it whenever you wish by setting it up and jumping right back in where you left off. See page 10 of the Book of Scripts. So I think we're going to go through one more day and then we're going to save it and come back in another video. Depends on how long this is going.